It's results days. Don't panic, do this instead. Whatever you're picking up, whatever qualifications they might be, GCSEs, A-levels, IB, T-levels, vocational qualifications, or even higher education qualifications that you might have taken through a university or a college if you've been doing something like an HTQ. You're picking up your results. How do you cope with the scenario? What do you do and what do you need to know? This video will help you. First of all, know the arrangements for the day. It's really straightforward, but so many students forget this. Check before you finish your course, whatever that might be, how you will be picking up your results day. Every single place is different. So the team and I at CXK, we work at so many different schools across the southeast, and each of those schools do results day slightly differently. Before you finish at the school, make sure that you find out how the results day is going to be. Now, if you've forgotten to do that and you've already finished, contact the school, drop them an email. You might have to go through reception because maybe your teachers are going to be on leave, on holiday. Contact them to find out what the arrangements are, unless they've sent you a letter which has the details in. Now, there are some really straightforward basics for results days that will really reduce the stress. Now, we're hoping you're going to get the grades that you need for whatever your next step might be or for your future plans. But things to do to help you to prepare. First off, very much in this country, keep an eye on the weather. So I've done loads of different results days. Some have been baking hot and some have been through torrential rain, even though they're the same time of year each year. Check the weather forecast beforehand. There's nothing worse turning up like a drowned rat because you got caught out in the rain. Take an umbrella or a coat. Likewise, for some results days, you have to queue before you can go into the building. Make sure you've got sunglasses and a sun hat to keep the sun off if it's going to be baking hot. So, very basic things. Wear what's appropriate for the weather, basically. The next hack to help you. If you're going to be there for a while, you don't know how long you might be queuing, although for some results days, with some schools, you also have to enroll on the sixth form at the same day. Take some snacks with you. Take a drink with you so you don't get hungry or thirsty, especially if later on you're going to have to be making some decisions. More on that later. So make sure you've got enough to eat to make sure that you're okay. If you can, make sure that your phone is with you and charged up. And if you're more of an analog kind of guy or girl, make sure that you've got a pen and paper to make any notes if you need to, if you're going to have to be calling up people like universities through things like clearing results days and stuff like that. Be prepared. So, they're the basics in terms of where we're at. Also, things don't always go as we planned, so give yourself time and be prepared to be there for as long as it takes to get things sorted out. Go with the flow of the time of the day of where you're at. Sometimes you might be having to queue for a bit. That's a part of results day. With some of the options that are out there, you need to stay in the school or the college that you're at to get things resolved. So some of the other top things you can do to prepare is don't book yourself in for work on the same day as picking up results, if that's an option. If someone else is picking the results up for you, also make sure that they've followed the processes for the place where you're at to pick up those results. So many times have I seen parents or carers turn up to pick up their young person's results and they haven't been able to pick them up because they didn't write a letter in beforehand to the exams officer saying that they were going to be doing so to get permission. So just bear that in mind as well. Okay, so it's results days. You're picking up the results. Lots of different things can be happening at this point. You're going to get your qualifications. One of the big things that happens with qualifications come through, they often get given to you on a sheet of paper, and sometimes that sheet of paper really doesn't make sense. There's lots of columns, there's lots of maybe numbers or letters, and it can be a bit confusing because it might have your modules, and trying to find your final grade can be a bit tricky. Make sure that you ask for some help. Now, pretty much everywhere that we've been in, there's always been another member of staff there who will be able to help you interpret your results. There's often designated members of staff for that. The lead one in many schools and settings is the exams officer. So if you're really stuck, that's who you need to see. Now, the exams officer is also who you need to see if you've got a query about your grades. Now, some schools will have the exams officer available to you and you'll be able to ask them questions. In some schools, there will be a designated member of staff to take your questions to. So make sure that you go and find who that designated member of staff is, whether you're looking at resits or whether you're looking at appeals for marking. Any of those questions and queries need to go to a trained professional in the school or college that you're at so your answers can be fully answered, basically in an informed way. Don't just grab a passing member of staff and ask them to solve it for you. It ain't gonna happen. They'd probably be the wrong person to ask. Interpret your results, get any help that you need from the designated member of staff in the school or college or university if you're there, should you need it. Okay, next bit. It can be a bit stressful. Your mental health is really, really important. So make sure that you take time to look after yourself. Now, we're hoping that you will get the grades that you need and you'll be able to go on to the fabulous, wonderful things that you want to do. It isn't always that case for every young person, sadly. At that point, if that happens to you, that you haven't got the grades that you need, the biggest thing that you can remember is don't panic. Okay, there are always options. Whatever's happened, there is always an option somewhere along the line for different pathways and things that you can do. So what are my top tips for this scenario? Take your time. Don't be in a rush to make a decision. If you need time, give yourself time. It's really, really important. Also, access support. Now that can be from your independent careers advice service that you've got within your school, who will be able to give you independent guidance and support around what your options might be. But it might also be get support from your friends, from your family, from your teachers. Whatever emotional support that you need, make sure that you access it. Some of the schools that we go into also run a triage service. So for example, you might get your results on results days. You might not be in the headspace to make a decision. You may be able to come in the next day and get some support once you've had time to process, and giving yourself that time to process is really, really important. I'm aware with some options that there are some time pressures when we look at things like clearing and stuff like that. If you were going from a level 3 course onto a university level course, there are some time pressures that we have to be sensitive to, but we also need to be sensitive to your mental health as well and make sure that you're okay. It's really, really important. There is so much media coverage around results days these days, and so many people are putting out there their own stories about what's happening for them. There is a huge danger in comparing ourselves to others, whether we feel like we're failing or winning. It can really affect our mental health and our sense of self. Focus on your journey, your story, and your life. There's lots of people out there who are there and available to help. If you haven't got access to a career service in your school, make sure that you contact the National Careers Service for any support that you need. There's a team of amazing advisors there who are able to support and help you and guide you independently with your options and your choices. The numbers below in the details for you to have a look at. They're really lovely people. So, planning your next move. Here's a controversial idea. Just because before you got your results, you were intending to go to university or apprenticeship or one of the other options that you've got that you might be considering, it doesn't mean that you have to pursue them. Your grades might have been a wake-up call for you that you no longer want to take a particular pathway and want to change your ideas. It could be that you didn't get the results that you needed and you want to change your ideas as to where you're going. At that point, is taking that time and that step back is really important to plan your next steps. Taking the time to consider what you need to do for the options that you're considering. It might be that you're taking a gap year from wherever your path that you're on and doing something whilst you figure stuff out. It might be that you need to do some research to find out more about a particular pathway. It could be that you need to go and talk to some people, but pull together a plan that works for you, and it needs to be your plan. Don't make a plan just to keep your teachers or your parents or your carers happy. Plan for you. Plan what you need to do to be able to move forward with your next steps. Whether that includes taking time, taking a pause, doing some research, talking to some other people, getting some independent careers guidance. Take the time that you need to plan through effectively what it is that you need to do to be successful. And to reiterate, don't panic, okay? You may not have got the grades that you needed for what you thought you wanted to do, but sometimes that can lead you into pathways and journeys that you never expected, into a life that you never expected, that is just as valuable and worthwhile to you than you could ever possibly have imagined. And things do work themselves out. However your results days has landed though, we wish you the absolute best of luck for the future. Go forth and have a fantastic life, whatever it is that you're hoping to do. Depending on your circumstances, you might need some help with some research. We have loads of resources at CXK to help you. So if you want to know what your post-16 options are, check out that video. If you want to explore questions that you need to ask at an open day, check out that video. If you're needing help writing a CV to help you with job hunting, go and check out our CV guide. It's absolute magic.